King that he never asked me more about the books that I was supposedly reading. Good times. Okay, here goes. Sharing something I thought I would take to my grave. My husband likes me trimmed and I like him to do it. We use a couple of small hand towels to catch the distinctive curly hair that is cut off. Somehow our laundry got mixed up and I ended up using those same towels, and washed, and putting them in a guest bathroom for a Christmas party. So after probably 6 hours, all the guests left and we only then realized that we had left our pube covered towels out for people to dry their hands on. I don't know who noticed what, no one said anything. But I've always assumed that everyone noticed and we seriously haven't seen most of those guests since, as I was too mortified to invite them again. Someday, I expect that I'll see the other side of the story on Reddit. Like grossest thing you saw at someone's house or something : dart. The extent of how much I hate myself and my life. I think about death a lot but never tell anyone because there is a very real possibility of losing my job if I did. So there's that sort of mindset that I can't seek help or be open about it in fear of losing my job. I want to duck my best friend. With my F&K. I'm the guy who put toast crumbs in the butter. One is I used to physically fight with my mom as a kid. I would also say some things I regretted. My dad was abusive and she would defend him. She would get in my head and get me not to call CPS. She told me if I called CPS our entire family would fall apart and it would be my fault. She would get in my face when I told her to leave my room, so I'd try to walk her out, so she would shove me back and that would start a fight. She would defend it saying she thought I was trying to push her. No matter what, though it's never okay to pick a physical fight with your kid. Since then she has apologized and moved on. I'm still pretty broken though. She pretends it never happened. I don't speak with my dad. But I feel terrible for hitting my mom or saying the things I did. She was already dealing with my dad. Heck. The reason I stayed at home so long was to make sure she was okay. Edit. Thank you to everyone who sent me support. You can't imagine how much it means to me. I'm not sure how I feel about my top rated comment being about my childhood abuse, but hopefully this helps someone somehow. If anyone needs to talk, feel free to message me. I moved out at 21. My parents divorced when I was 23. And I cut my dad out shortly after. I've been in and out of therapy for years, but I'm in it right now. God bless you beautiful people. I pick my nose when no one's looking. Could be a secret, could be a fantasy. TLDR, I think I intentionally burned down my house to end my abuse. As a young child, ages 4-7, I was regularly sexually assaulted by teenage neighbors, and obviously my feeling about this were not good. A few days after returning from summer vacation, the sexual assaults began again. By the first day of school. At most a week after I got back from vacation. Childhood home burned down and I never had to see my abusers again. No, they didn't die. But the fire forced us to move. Now I have suppressed so many of these memories, but since I was super young I have always had this dream that I was the one who burned down the house. The real life events are as follows. My brother and I get home from school. I am 7, he's 9. We get some snacks out the fridge. Eat and get ready to go to our babysitter's house, which was across the street. I tell my brother I need to pee and I will meet him outside. I have zero memory of what happens between that moment and me talking to my brother outside. Once I was outside. According to my brother, I was coughing a lot and he was super worried. He told the babysitter he was scared I would have an asthma attack. I had chronic asthma, and asked her to get me water while he ran in to get my inhaler. She gave me water and calmed me down, and no less than a minute later my brother came out screaming that the house was on fire. This was the early 90s and not a cell phone inside, so we sat there as she ran into her house to call 911 and my mom. The fire was deemed accidental and they said the air conditioner caused the fire. Now in my dream the story plays out exactly the same. Except instead of going to the bathroom I walk into my mom's room and pour water into an extension cord where her rack was hooked up. I watch the fire start and get out of the room feeling like I can't breathe but close the door behind me. And my dream always ends as I close that door. A huge part of me believes this to be a memory and not a dream, because less than 3 years ago I was looking through family pictures deciding on which ones to bring with me on my cross-country move. And I found a bunch of pics from the house fire that my mom had for insurance purposes. Keep in mind I have had this same dream for close to 16 years at that point and never see I couldn't take it. I got some side jobs and paid her back as soon as I could. I don't know if she ever noticed. I've told people that I started getting treated for depression because I realized that my normal wasn't healthy. I've never told anyone that it was because I was constantly thinking about hanging myself and I was scared that I might actually follow through. I'm convinced I'm in a parallel universe. A lot of subtle things changed in March of 2013. I haven't told anyone because they'd think I'm crazy. So I've just been living my life as normally as possible. I know parallel universe is the coolest explanation. But if it's a lot of things, you might want to get some scans done. Especially if you had an infection or an injury during that particular March. A couple moved into the house next to me in Adelaide. They were constantly drunk, fighting, hitting each other, throwing stuff, making noise, abusing neighbors and their pets etc. Ittiest people on the planet. 2 days before I moved out, I set an alarm for 2 AM. Snuck out to their car, stole the oil from their sump, shunted the low oil sensor and unplugged their radiator fan. This was an extremely hot summer with temperatures reaching 46°C, 115°F. No idea what happened, but I can't imagine it was good. One time I dropped a Cheeto on the ground. And when I picked it up I asked my friend if he wanted it. He said yes. A fellow immigrant girl I knew kept getting her ass severely kicked by her way older and stronger creepy brother, like choked out, punched, strangled, kicked, etc. Her parents didn't do anything cause it's common in immigrant families to let older kids discipline younger ones even if the violence is severe. I told her next time he does it to tell her parents he sexually assaulted her. He hit on underage girls all the time. Just not his sister. The family ducking freaked because beating your sister to death is okay as long as she's a virgin in that culture. The family stopped talking to him for years for that. I felt bad for telling her to lie. But dude was so insane he was going to kill his sister. And that made me keep my mouth shut. I'm male. I lost my virginity to a male friend when I was 12. We were always hanging out together. Curiosity got the best of us and we started getting hands-on with each other. Nothing intimate. He would come over to my house after school and I would have sex with him. It went on for a month or so and we just stopped. One time in Sunday school, I was wearing my favorite shorts. Hawaiian tribal symbols all over with a sunburst coloring red to orange to yellow. We were all singing in front of our respective metal fold-out chairs. I was more towards the back as we sang the Bible song, Yes That's the Book for Me, not at all the book for me, while our Asian female teacher played piano when suddenly I had to sheet. The turtle head popping in and out until finally it felt so good to just let it go. In a moment of weakness I let a little too much come out, so when I tightened my sphincter, I suddenly remembered where I was and what I was doing. Panicked. I tensed up. Instead of sucking back in, it just got cut off. Good day to not wear my Godzilla tighty whities. It dropped to the cheap brown carpet with tiny maroon, green, and mustard yellow squares, dots, and dotted lines. Realizing my duck up, I did the only rational thing. I kicked it. Not only did it go exactly where I thought the safest place to hide a turd would be, but even better, it went way farther than I thought it would. Long story short, I had kicked it underneath a different piano. This piano, in the several years I attended that Sunday school, was never moved and never had the quilt-like cover taken off. I don't know if they ever found my 2-inch turd, but I do know I got away with it. My wife left me 9 months ago. She broke my heart and her sudden departure destroyed my life. I was 9 months away from finishing college, but instead I dropped out and I'm currently teaching in China. I'm drowning in student debt. I don't speak any Mandarin and